In the beginning, of course, we were one bargaining unit, the BC Government Licensed Pros. And I think there can be no rival in terms of major changes to the fact that over the years, the membership base moved from one group of people and one bargaining unit to very many more.
Unions can go through a lot within 3 decades. There are times when everything is calm, and then there are the rough times when patience and solidarity are tested. With the bad comes the great times, times when everything we worked hard for comes to fruition, and we look back and celebrate all that we've accomplished.
This was the first time this had ever been done in British Columbia. Lawyers organizing, it was unheard of, absolutely unheard of.
It's good for professionals to be in a collective like a trade union, and that is the strength and the best thing about the PEA.
PEA represents a unique niche in the labor world. The membership is made up primarily of professional employees who exercise skills acquired through extensive education and experience.
The PEA is an organization, a union of professionals who are usually certified in some way to do the work that they do, and it comprises a wide range of professionals. There's teachers, there's foresters, there's a whole bunch of different professions that the PEA takes care of.
35 years ago, the world was a different place. Many of the jobs currently represented by the PEA didn't even exist. Work was handled by several individuals. People didn't rely on e-communications. Processes were cumbersome. Unions were very different.
One of the reasons that the PEA was originally formed was the Dave Barrett government in 1974 decided they were going to in fact permit the civil service to unionize. Previously that was not allowed in law in BC. And the licensed professionals were concerned that they not be swept into a union where the majority of its members were not in fact licensed professionals.
An organizing drive was supported by 60% of eligible members, and the association was born on February 18, 1974, at the Empress in Victoria. Later that year, the BC Labour Relations Board certified the British Columbia Government Professional Employees Association as the exclusive bargaining agent for licensed professionals.
I arrived from Victoria carrying physically all of the material, all the evidence for the very first certification at the then Labour Relations Board in Vancouver. I took it by ferry in a beat-up old Volkswagen I owned in those days, and I came to Vancouver and delivered it personally to the Labour Board.
7 years later, the PEA expanded after the membership approved constitutional amendments enabling professional bargaining units outside of the public service.
As I say, these were the glory days of legal aid in British Columbia, and management was very progressive. And together we actually worked on behalf of legal aid in this province to the benefit of all of the clients.
Since then, the PEA has been certified for 13 bargaining units.
I did know the people who kind of approached the PEA and brought them in. We were all younger and there was a lot of energy.
Most recently, in 2006, the association became the certified bargaining agent for 2 units, the Oil and Gas Commission and the Law Society Lawyers.
My first experience was an early certification meeting at which representatives came and talked about the PEA and what they felt they could do for us.
Compared to labor giants, the PEA has remained consistent while growing with workplace trends.
I really like the fact, and I always say this to people when they ask what union I'm part of, that it's not militant.
I kind of think of it as the ununion. The union for people who aren't really into being in a union.
I think we've only been in one other union for a very short period of time, and I attended some of the meetings and felt quite intimidated by them.
Workplace amalgamations, closures, and other events have cost the PEA members and chapters.
In terms of the Pearson Group and Community Health Services, well, both of those changes were consequences of reorganization and restructuring of the broader public sector.
After having been told that we had to join another union without really our agreement, we went back to the PEA. That was very positive.
Recent years have seen the PEA involved in two massive public relations campaigns against proposed government initiatives that would kill the association. In 2002, the government planned to eliminate nearly 12,000 public sector jobs.
Not only did we have large numbers of our government members laid off, there was quite an impact in the health sector, the Legal Services Society, and in other bargaining units.
We had a 40% budget cut in 2002, and the board of the Legal Services Society refused to implement that budget cut. And in response, the government fired the board and replaced the board with a trustee.
2 years later, the PEA came under extreme pressure when the BC government proposed an amendment to the Public Service Labour Relations Act that would force government licensed professionals into another union.
We had a very big battle 4 or 5 years ago, which we won.
We had thousands of letters going to MLAs across the province. We had thousands of letters going to newspapers. We had phone calls going to call-in radio shows. And it wasn't about, we deserve more money, or it wasn't about, we deserve this. It wasn't individually motivated. It was, this is an organization we believe in. It's an organization that we chose to join. And it's an organization that we think should continue. And nobody else has the right to take that choice away from us.
For 35 years, the PEA has made sure professionals love going to work. The last several years marks the beginning of a new chapter in the PEA's history. With the inclusion of new processes, modern ways of accomplishing goals, the association is moving forward and setting both workplace and labor trends.
We need to stay actively looking forward because times change.
With a diverse, dedicated group of people like the PEA has, we can definitely get wherever we wish to go.
The PEA is one of the only unions to use social media to minimize the geographical barriers that separate its members.
The technology and everything has come on board, and it's been great.
Many of our members are spread out over the province. That's a challenge that I think new media can help overcome.
This effort of outreach to the membership is really good. I think they should continue with that.
The PEA is working to ensure a culture of engagement is promoted through communication, face-to-face interactions, and top-notch labor relations services.
Every time there's been some clarification required, that the PEA has been able to come up with a solution.
I could count on a labor relations officer to provide me with some guidance and some support.
No matter the job title or chapter members belong to, each one is professional, vital to the PEA, and makes the union what it is, the Professional Employees Association. I am a professional. This is my union.